What is going on, Saints fans? Welcome into another edition of the Full Press Saints podcast, part of the Full Press Coverage Network. What is going on, everybody? It is Alec. It is Matt. It's been a couple of weeks since we've been on the mics, but we know a lot has changed with your New Orleans Saints since Sean Payton announced he was stepping away from football just a few weeks ago. So, Matt, let's dive into all that head on strong. But first, let me ask you, how have you been, man?
I've been doing good, just enjoying the off season, even though the Super Bowl just ended, and unfortunately the team we all wanted to lose ended up winning, but at least the one player on the team we all wanted to win kind of got roasted in the end of it, so I guess it all comes around when it comes around, I guess. Don't really have a better saying for that right now, but I've been doing all right. How about yourself?
Good, man, good. Obviously went down to the Senior Bowl in Mobile a few weeks ago. That was fun. Got to see lots of players. Got to interview some guys for our sports show, The Final Drive. What else happened? Got to meet the Ross Jackson and Dylan Sanders in person, and that was always that's always a fun treat to go do. Met Adam and Ryan. Adam and Ryan of the No Music, No Intro podcast, and they do some great stuff over there. You guys should give all those guys a follow if you haven't yet, as well as us on Twitter at SaintsFPC. My Twitter page is at AASalas98. Matt, what is drop the ad at?
Mine is Matt. That's who.
Hey, there we go. So obviously, Matt, a lot has happened since we last did the Sean Payton episode, where we kind of talked about what he's meant to the team, what direction do they go, yada, yada, yada. Obviously, I think everybody kind of had their own preference for head coaching. Some of them wanted Eric Bieniemy from the Chiefs to kind of revamp this offense and do it his way with the new blood in the offense. Some people were content with Dennis Allen, who I think was probably the front runner to begin with, and probably the safer choice, if you will, to kind of continue the culture and the continuity that Sean Payton has created since he's been in New Orleans. And that came out last week that Dennis Allen was indeed named the head coach of your New Orleans Saints. And today we're recording on Thursday? So Wednesday night, it was announced by Rappaport that the Saints were going to get Pete Carmichael offensive coordinator duties after it was reported he was going to step back in a more a different role in the offense, but he is now the OC, which means, I think most people kind of wanted Bieniemy to have some kind of role / impact on this team, whether it was as a head coach or offensive coordinator. Obviously, with Pete Carmichael, we know what we're getting. This is a guy who's been with Sean Payton since 2006, the same as Dennis Allen. So, it's same status quo, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And with the head coaching search, they did their due diligence. They went out there and talked to a couple guys. One of them actually getting the Jaguars job, in Doug Peterson. Eric Bieniemy, of course, they had a long, extensive interview with him, and I think it's important to go out there and do your due diligence and get fresh takes and fresh ideas and opinions on the current roster you have, and just get general ideas. Like, it's always good to get an outsider's perspective, because an insider's perspective can be kind of biased in the way you view things. So just getting a new, fresh idea and look at it is always a good thing. But of course, they also interviewed Aaron Glenn. And I know in the press conference where they introduced Dennis Allen, Mickey Loomis was saying, hey, two of the biggest criterias were head coaching experience, which Dennis Allen has. He was on the Raiders, although it didn't go over that well. But I'm sure he learned a lot from that experience, which he pretty much said in the press conference. And then they also wanted someone who is familiar with the organization. And pretty much the only person that ticked those two boxes was Dennis Allen, having the Raiders head coaching position and having coached this team, been a part of this team for 12 of the 16 years of the Sean Payton era. So it just made the most sense from what they were doing. And I know a lot of people on Saints Twitter are kind of lukewarm about it, but in my opinion, it makes sense. Would Would a change of pace be a welcome idea? Maybe. We just won't know until we actually see how it pans out. Because I know things didn't pan out too well, but I mean, this is going to be a defense-oriented team, so having the leader of the defense, Dennis Allen, be there and continue having the right culture stay in place is going to be a very important thing. As far as the offensive coordinator thing, and I'm sorry I'm rambling on a little bit long.
No, you're good, dude. I love it. Keep going.
But as far as the offensive coordinator thing, I thought that search was really weird because at first it's like, oh, Pete Carmichael stepping down. He's not going to be the guy.
Right.
And shortly after, I know Nick Underhill said, oh, Doug Marone's going to come on to the thing. And there's thoughts maybe he's going to be the offensive coordinator for 2 seconds. Then we got some clarification pretty quickly that he's going to come in and be the O-line coach, which, I mean, having a guy like him as your O-line coach is always good. He has previous head coaching experiences himself. He's been around the league and, of course, been a part of this culture before. So having him come aboard is a good thing. I'm sure I could see him being like an assistant head coach kind of role to help Dennis Allen out, just due to experience. But it was weird how at first they're just like, oh, Pete Carmichael stepping down to a lesser role. We all probably pretty much thought that he'd be the quarterback coach going forward. And then they go out and interview guys like Prince, the Cowboys wide receiver coach, which I think he just took that job, which was weird.
Yep. Jay Gruden.
And then Jay Gruden. Also Montgomery of the Colts who's apparently was a run pass option guru kind of guy.
Right.
Two names that weren't really hugely established. Jay Gruden, he's been in the league for a while, and people have their thoughts and opinions on him. But
I wouldn't mind Jay Gruden, to be honest with you. I mean, that's a guy who, you think about during his time in Washington, he got the absolute most out of Kirk Cousins in Washington.
Yeah.
Then he goes to Cincinnati, and he got the best out of Andy Dalton, and I think both those guys. You could maybe argue a guy like Jameis Winston at this point in his career might be in that same tier of quarterbacks as Dalton and Cousins were at their times, respectively.
Yeah.
So I think, Jay Gruden would have been an interesting hire, but, I mean, like you said, it was weird how we all thought, okay, well, Pete Carmichael, he took his name out of the run for, was it head coaching, right?
Yeah, they had asked to interview him, and he pretty much said, "Nah, I'm good."
Right, and then he, steps down. Kind of, we all kind of figured he was going to be the one holdover from the Peyton, group, probably just going to stick around and help out with the offense. And then, when Dennis Allen becomes the head coach, and the reports of Bieniemy, his contract is still expired with the Chiefs. There's been no real decision made on his future. So we're thinking, okay, cool. So, hey, bring him on in for offense coordinator. Let's roll, And then they were real weird about the process. So.
Yeah, it was overall really weird. I'm sure my 2 cents and opinion on it is they had some sort of plan in place. And Pete Carmichael was always going to be the backup plan in case it fell through. And maybe that was Bieniemy coming over and being the offensive coordinator. Maybe something fell through. And the way I looked at it the whole time, where people were wondering if EB would come over and be the OC, I was just always wondering. And, of course, there's always the counterpoint of he wants to get out of the shadow of Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. But at the same time, I don't know if I'd want to take over this offense considering what it looked like last season and kind of hurting his chances of being a head coach, even though he's had a lot of head coaching interviews and never really gotten hired.
And maybe minus Alvin Kamara this year.
Yeah, and maybe minus Alvin Kamara, but that's a whole other can of worms, man. It's always interesting being a Saints fan.
It's never a dull day, that's for sure. Never a dull day.
For sure, but
I wish there are times I wish I was like a Titans fan or a Eagles fan, because I feel like nothing bizarre happens every day with those fans. It's just why us?
I mean, it just wouldn't be a part of the experience. But yeah,
right.
Overall, it's a really weird thing with the offensive coordinator thing. But at the end of the day, they choose to continue with the continuity of Pete Carmichael, which at the beginning of this whole thing, I thought Pete Carmichael was going to be the OC until they said, "Oh, he's going to be stepping down," and that was the only weird thing about it. But that's just my opinion. Is I think he was the backup plan, and they had some kind of plan in place originally, but it just fell through for whatever reason. And if that ever comes to light, I'd be very interested to hear about it. But I don't think we'll probably hear about that for a while. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, keeps the culture. Probably brings Jameis back next season, just to keep things more of the status quo going forward, which could be bad, could be a good thing. We'll just have to see how that goes. But yeah, what do you think about all that?
I think you brought up several great points, and especially I think the biggest thing that the Saints want to do in this transition from the Sean Payton era to this new era, I think they want to try and keep the culture at as much as they can, the same, in the sense of Pete Carmichael's going to come over and take over play calling, which, if I'm correct, and I could be wrong, but I believe he hasn't really called plays since 2012, and then the 2011 season when Sean Payton got hurt, right?
Yeah, it'd be somewhere around there. And then I wanted to say there was a brief stint somewhere in there where he called plays, and then Sean Payton took it back over. Maybe it was around that same era. But yeah, for the most part, it's always Peyton calling the plays.
Yeah, so we'll see how Pete can be. And I doubt it, but maybe he could be a little more different. And I think Pete Carmichael, if anything, he has to realize they need to get more talent on this offense and not roll out with the same squad from a year ago. Yes, I understand. It looks like we're going to get a healthy, hungry, eager to prove himself back to the NFL Michael Thomas, but you have the questions about his other receivers and him able to step up besides him. You have uncertainty at the tight end position. Teron Armstead's going to be a free agent. Alvin Kamara beat a guy to death. He could be facing jail time. So, yeah. I mean, you're telling me you're looking at this right now, the big offensive pieces that Carmichael has to work with. It's Michael Thomas. I mean, Mark Ingram. I mean, they have to understand that you have to get some pieces on this offense, whether it's through free agency or the draft. And I hope he understands he cannot just roll out there with the same team from a year ago, because I can tell you right now it would not go. It would, and that's, we went 9-8 with Sean Payton. So it's cool and all, status quo, whatever. But at the end of the day, this team needs to add talent to the offensive side of the ball if they want to get anywhere further than last year.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I definitely agree. I mean, just looking at it, this was the worst offense in probably the Sean Payton history. Definitely in passing, because it was a league low 187 yards per game.
Yeah.
I was barely right below the Giants and the Bears, but man, it was rough some weeks just seeing how things would transpire and just wondering how this room's going to get the stuff together. And I mean, just if we could possibly have AK and MT on the field at the same time, which it just seems like a pipe dream at this stage, to have both guys on the field. Damn
you, NFL! Why'd you put the Pro Bowl in Vegas? Just keep it in Hawaii. It was fun in Hawaii.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's just crazy stuff, man. But hopefully everything gets resolved and both of them can be on the field at some point during this coming season. We don't know what the AK stuff will be like, and I'm sure it'll be a while before we hear anything, because sometimes they take a while with these things and they like to do their own extensive investigations and whatnot. But lots of things have to change, and I mean, they let go of the wide receiver coach, Curtis Johnson. They changed
did not
the
like
offensive
that
line. Yeah, that is a questionable move.
That was not on Curtis Johnson this year, though. That was not on him.
Yeah, he was dealing with Kenny Stills.
Kenny Stills. I mean, you're basically running out there with a bunch of wide receiver fours every week, and that's not on Curtis Johnson's fault. That was on Sean Payton to not surround his coaches with adequate players.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that take. I don't think Curtis Johnson should have been held accountable really for the wide receiver performances, because, I mean, at the end of the day, the talent really wasn't there, and there's not really much you can do with the talent. I mean, of course, Deontay had some good games here and there, and then Deontay is probably the best performing wide receiver on a week-in, week-out basis, in my opinion. But Callaway was good. Traquan was up and down. there's just much to be desired with the wide receiver position, and that's one thing that really a lot of things need to be addressed on the offense. If we're being honest, I mean the O line has question marks, like you said. Teron Armstead's a free agent. What are they going to do at left tackle if he leaves? Quarterback's a huge question mark, and I mean, I know we're pretty much alluding to Jameis maybe coming back, and even that's not even a given. So
Yeah,
we don't really know
and even if he comes back, I still consider that a question mark because I really do not know. Say Jameis resigns for 1 year again, I just don't know if I think he's the guy going forward that can help bring a championship to the team. I just really don't know that because, I mean, he was, quote, efficient last year before he got hurt, but efficient won't win you a Super Bowl. I mean, look at Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow led the NFL in deep touchdown passes last year. The Bengals and the Rams were two of the most, wow, big play offenses from a year ago. So... Yeah. It won't get. I mean, it's cool and all for Jameis to get 10, 11 wins, but at the end of the day, guys like that just don't go all the way.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Jameis used to be a gunslinger, but I think he really went into this past season thinking, I got to really limit on the turnovers, actually getting to play again, coming off the 30 for 30. And I mean, it's just. We really got to see what it would be like if he has more weapons, and I will give him the benefit of the doubt in that aspect because the weapons were obviously not up to par for an NFL offense to operate at full maximum potential. So if we supply more weapons to him, I've told multiple people, I'd really like for the Saints to go out and have a New England Patriots off season, even if that doesn't include us getting a rookie QB in the draft. As long as we just go out and acquire stuff we can put around a quarterback and help them to succeed. And some people thought it was going to be Cam Newton going into the season for the Patriots, but it ended up being the rookie. And I mean, if we want to acquire a different quarterback and kind of evaluate whether it's Jameis or the new quarterback, that's fine too. But just give whoever it is some more weapons. We need a more efficient wide receiver too. We definitely need a tight end. We probably need a backup running back. We need to fill some holes on the offensive line, especially if Teron leaves. It's just a lot of different things that need to happen in order for us to properly evaluate a quarterback and give a quarterback what they need to succeed.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm the Saints, I'm overhauling the wide receiver. I think nobody would be safe come training camp for a spot. I think all of them are up for grabs. You got to sign a couple of veterans, bring in a rookie, and invest. Don't come at me with K'Wan Baker in the 7th round and tell me, he's gonna be a nice pick. He's a guy. No, invest a 1 or a 1st or a 2nd round pick and a playmaker. I'm tired of this team year in and year out just going, we have Traquan Smith. Yeah, he's good for what? 14 catches, 211 yards, and 4 touchdowns every year. Cool. Good, whatever. But at the end of the day, that's not good enough to win a championship, I mean, most of these receivers are probably wide receiver 4s and 5s on NFL rosters. Seriously, even a guy like Deontay Harris would be, at best, a 3rd receiver somewhere else. And it would only be kept around for his return skills.
Yeah, I mean, Deontay is a really nice change of pace kind of guy, for sure. And if he was like our wide receiver 4 on our offense, I'd be elated. That'd be a really good wide receiver 4 to have and have 2 other guys ahead of him because he can make catches and he can create separation. And, of course, he has his return skills, which are at an elite level when healthy. But we definitely need to at least, like we said on a previous podcast, or like I've said before, at least draft someone and sign at least one person and draft at least one person, maybe 2 or 3 in each types. Because I mean, you could probably sign a tight end and draft a tight end, also sign a wide receiver and draft a wide receiver because those positions both need help. We just need pass catchers in all aspects.
Yeah. Regardless, Pete Carmichael has a lot of work to do to overhaul this offense. And try and get it right because last year's offense was horrible, and that's being nice about it.
Yeah, I mean, we're wasting a possible Super Bowl caliber defense, and I mean, for years it was, oh, we're wasting the Super Bowl caliber offense with this lackluster defense, and now it's the opposite, and we go into it with a defensive minded head coach, and we'll see how it happens.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Really quickly, let's just touch on Alvin Kamara, because I feel like it's just thing after thing keeps happening with this team. I believe he got charged with a, some kind of assault, right?
Yeah. I don't have the true technical term, but I remember it popping up and me just being like, what the heck? Like, apparently...
battery.
Yeah, battery would be the term for it, but apparently he committed this... the Pro Bowl was on a Sunday, I think, and this happened on a Saturday, I want to say, and he was wanted and everything, and the NFL apparently knew about it before the Pro Bowl even started, but they apparently let him play because, the Pro Bowl has to generate their numbers, I guess. I didn't even watch it, so... apparently it was like two-hand touch, which is wild.
I didn't even watch it.
Yeah, I didn't either. I was just I just saw that on Twitter where it was like a touch football game, which I mean makes sense because I saw one player, I want to say it was Darius Slay, said something about it, and he was saying something along the lines of, "Hey, look, a lot of these other leagues, they have their All-Star games kind of in the middle of the season, while ours is at the end of the season where players are trying to rest up, they have contracts coming up, and they don't want to risk anything," which, I mean, that's a very valid point, and I'm not going to lie to him there, but, I mean, it doesn't generate a great product for the TV anyways, but yeah, I mean, they let Alvin Kamara play in the game, and then he got arrested, got out on bail, but we'll have to see how more of it plays out. If a video, and he said something, I mean, look, I don't condone going out and beating up a guy and hitting on a guy or doing all this. Kamara did say like one questionable line to the police, from what I read on the police report. Not 100% sure if it's true or not, but I'm pretty sure that's what it came out as. And he said something along the lines of, "Oh, I thought he did something to one of my friends, and so he was running away, so I went after him." The fact that he said, "Oh, he was running away," and then went after him, that's not a good look. That could be bad.
Yeah, and the fact that the video hasn't come out yet is still kind of... I'm still waiting to see this video for my own judgment, but I found it. Actually, Chiefs cornerback Chris Lamons has a warrant out for his arrest in connection to the same incident, which would be battery resulting in substantial bodily harm to the guy. If convicted, it faces up to 5 years. I don't even know. What the hell? What are we doing here, Saints? I mean, come on. I mean, last year we lose Drew Brees. Okay, we expected that. We lose Sean Payton. All right, what the hell? Sean.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, why? Yeah, we go through this whack-ass season, and we're thinking, okay, well, we have Sean Payton. We're going to be cool. He leaves. Well, okay. Fuck. And then we find out Alvin Kamara could be facing up to 5 years in federal prison for beating up a dude because he apparently said something to one of his boys, and Alvin went up just charging at him. What in God's green earth are we doing, Saints? Come on. It's just... Yeah. It's just getting hard, Matt. This team, man. It makes you wonder things in life, like, how do we get to this point?
I know it's something new every day. I mean, you never know what can happen out there, but I mean, I will reserve too much judgment until even more information comes out, because you just never know.
Or a video at least.
Come out. Yeah,
because the video hasn't dropped, and I need to see what happened on the security cameras, because they're not telling us anything. But they say what everybody's saying happened matches up to what the video shows, so we just gotta wait and see what that video looks like. And
exactly.
I believe his... do we know when his trial date is?
I don't think we do. I have no idea of that personally. I don't know if that's really set in stone.
I don't think that's set yet.
Yeah, which that would be a big thing. But sometimes some of those things get delayed on purpose for multiple reasons by different parties. So who knows when that could end up actually being.
Right. I'm trying to see if I can find it on any of these websites real quick.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it's always something new. Being a Saints fan, it's going to be a ever revolving door trying to figure out what this Alvin Kamara situation and will he get 5 years of jail time? Probably not. My only other criticism,
kind of plea deal.
Yeah, my only other criticism of it is, look, apparently Alvin Kamara's with his entourage, and I just got to ask, what is the entourage doing having Kamara take the fall for it? I mean,
that's and again, Al Kamara is just such a
chill guy.
Oh, here we go. He was scheduled to appear in the Vegas Justice Court on Monday, with another appearance set for March 8th, but that Monday was pushed back. So I guess we really don't know when we'll hear any other update on that. But just this is already, the Super Bowl hadn't even started a week ago when all this happened, and here we are. Yeah. The season is still going on, and we're already in it right now, so I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, in the meantime, we could watch the New Orleans Breakers. I mean, they have their draft today, I think.
Oh, yeah, they do. I watch Home Team. Did you watch Home Team yet?
No. I mean, I saw the trailer for it, and I was like, yeah, I'm probably not going to watch that.
It's actually pretty funny. I mess with it, yeah.
Okay.
I mess with it. The ending's kind of funny. It's ironic.
Yeah, I know, there was a cameo in there, so.
Yeah, and the guy says something that's pretty accurate based on the real-time events that have happened now with the Saints. But it's a cool movie. It's funny. It has its moments. It's like any other Adam Sandler, Happy Madison produced movie where there's like just dumb, stupid humor, but it works.
Good to know.
It works.
I don't know if I'll still watch it or not, but good to know at least.
Yeah, it's funny, and I love how they put so much emphasis on him chewing gum throughout the movie with juicy fruit. It's funny.
Oh man, that used to be one of my things. Like whenever I heard, like early on when watching it, whenever I heard Sean Payton would have some juicy fruit during the game, I would do the same thing. I would have a pack of juicy fruit next to me. That gum goes bad so fast.
So fast.
But whenever like a bad play would happen, I'd be like, "Oh, I need a new gum, need a new stick."
Oh yeah, that's in God, is it an America's Game when they had a little 2-minute segment on his juicy fruit? He's like, "Give me juicy fucking fruit," and it's like,
I need a new stick. I need a new piece.
And then I'll look at him before the Hartley kick. They have Sean McVay. He goes, "Give me a piece of juicy fruit," right before Hartley's kick, and that's when life was so much simpler, Matt.
It really was.
There were no retirements. There weren't guys beating each other up in Vegas.
No.
Our star receiver wasn't gone for 2 years.
I mean, there still was questionable stuff going on.
Oh yeah, that. Okay, yeah. I thought you meant Bountygate.
That too.
Bountygate. That's an ethical thing. That's not really a rule book thing. That's just ethically speaking. If you feel like if to motivate your guys with some extra cash to make a play. And in that said play, somebody gets hurt. I mean, hey, it's football. Ethically speaking, it's just how you view that.
Yeah, I mean, but we're always in some kind of stuff going on. That's just how it is at this point.
Yep. We never escape the limelight for the wrong reasons. But hey, it is what it is.
That is also very true. But I mean. Dennis Allen, Pete Carmichael, and as far as the defense coordinator, I'm sure it's going to be Chris Richard. I mean, Ryan Nielsen could also be a candidate, but if I had to have a guess on it, I'd probably say Chris Richard is going to be the defense coordinator. I know he had a couple interviews to be defensive coordinator for other teams. Maybe it was just one, but I know his name was out there, so I'm sure he's probably going to be the one that gets elevated due to experience and whatnot, but... That's the way I'm sure it's going to shake out, and the rest of the coaching staff will form up and they'll start to evaluate rosters, get free agency going. What date does free agency actually start?
March 13th, I want to say.
March 16th.
16th, yeah.
We always know how free agency goes. They have their start date, and then there's the tampering date, like 3 days or so before, and that's when we'll start hearing deals. So around that March 13th, we'll start hearing deals happen and hearing rumors on players, and we'll get a better idea of what this coaching staff is going to be doing around that time. I'm sure it's going to be interesting to say the least concerning the quarterback and all other positions.
It's like you seen Toy Story, Matt?
Yes.
You know, in the beginning when Woody and them have the Green Army guys go and find out what Andy's opening.
Yes.
And they have the play school like baby monitor.
Oh yeah.
And you see Mr. Potato go, Mr. Potato Head, Mr. Potato Head. Wide receivers. That's all I want. I want some damn receivers. That's all I ask for. I don't want them to run back with little Jordan Humphrey and go, oh, his size and everything, he could really develop another year. It's been like 4 years. I'm tired of it. Bring me veteran, proven wide receiver. Bring me DJ Chark. Bring me Michael Gallup.
I'm sorry to any Saints wide receiver if they somehow stumble upon this podcast.
Yeah, because they're not going to like me. Except Michael Thomas. He might be the only the guy that I don't rag on. No, it's just Michael. He's the only one that's safe. Everybody else's spot's up for grabs.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say Deontay's pretty safe too, just because he's a kick returner and what he does in that role. So I think Deontay and Michael Thomas are very safe in their roles, but everyone else definitely.
I better not see them bring back Traquan on a 1-year deal.
it might happen. So
unfortunately, it might happen. You are correct, because I know how this team operates.
Yeah, and I mean. That's another thing, too. We got to do the yearly Saints are in cap hell. What moves are the Saints going to do to get under the cap? Which, I mean, according to, stuff I've heard from, Nick Underhill and people like that, I think the cap situation is definitely better than what it was last season regarding the Saints.
Yeah.
My only 2 cents on it is I wish we never gave Taysom Hill that contract.
Hey, maybe what didn't sound here was, you know what, Taysom? You're just not a quarterback. Maybe that's the only benefit of the Peyton leaving, is that maybe they'll go, we only Sean liked you, so.
But does Pete also like Taysom? That's the question.
I would hope not. I would hope to God not.
I would probably imagine so.
Don't do that, Matt.
I'm just having the pessimistic take.
Yeah, you're probably right, unfortunately. But. Hey, it is what it is at this point. As long as you have Alec and Matt, I really don't care. As long as I don't wake up and see SportsCenter reporting that he's facing 2 years in jail, whatever, it's like, oh, God. Him and Ruggs and tear it up at the prison league. Down there in Vegas.
That would be the darkest timeline.
Just prepare, Matt. We're only in February. The season just ended 2 days ago.
Fresh off the Super Bowl, fresh off seeing 50 Cent hanging from doing a.
I thought that was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
That was pretty cool. I mean, he was looking like a whole dollar out there, but.
Okay, really quick, let me ask you this: did you enjoy the halftime show?
Oh yeah, I mean, I really did enjoy it. It was a really good halftime show. I know I'm ragging on 50 Cent and all that, but it's just funny to make the dollar and the money puns. But I mean, overall, I thought it was really cool. Just all the different showcases of the artist. Personally, I really like seeing Kendrick Lamar. He's one of my favorite artists. So seeing him on that stage was amazing because I've been following the guy for a very long time. So that was awesome to see, and just an awesome halftime show. One of the favorite ones I've seen.
I don't know. I think I couldn't tell you the last time I saw a good halftime show. Maybe
Bruno Mars's and Beyonce's are pretty.
Yeah, I must say Coldplay, Bruno Mars, and Beyonce in 2015, if I'm right. That might have been the last good halftime show that I've seen. But this one was up there with the others. Yeah, the other great ones. I liked it. But yeah, I think we'll end it on we'll end it on a positive note about the halftime show, because I don't want to end it on a negative like these wide receiver grades are.
Oh yeah, I mean, we could also end it on the fact that, hey, Saints fans, it's gonna be a ride. We're gonna weather the storm, figure out how it goes, and I mean, it could be bad, could be worse, but at the end of the day, we're gonna be here delivering the news.
So bad. You sound so positive about this. Do not forget, follow us on Twitter at SaintsFPC. You can follow me on Twitter at AASolace98. Matt, drop your Twitter one more time.
Matt, that too.
And that will do it, guys. We'll be back next week to see what in the hell else has happened in the 3 days in between now and the next time we record. 'Cause I'm sure something else is going to happen with the Saints. So we'll be here to talk about it. Until then, you're going home with the Full Press Saints podcast. See you guys next time.